Here is a magic trick that has been performed on you every single day of your life. It is so subtle, so pervasive, that you don't even realize you are part of the audience. You look at a small, clear stone, and you see love. You see value. You see eternity. But what you are actually seeing is the result of the most ruthless, brilliant, and manipulative marketing campaign in human history. This stone is not rare. It is not an investment. For 100 years, one cartel controlled the supply, set the price, and wrote the script for your engagement. They hoarded mountains of gems in London vaults to create an artificial scarcity. They are De Beers. They didn't just sell rocks. They sold a fantasy that silenced the logic of billions of people. But to understand the lie, we have to go back to the moment the truth almost destroyed them. The curse of abundance. 1866, South Africa. The banks of the Orange River. A 15-year-old boy named Erasmus Jacobs finds a shiny pebble. He thinks it's a pretty stone to play with. He has no idea he just pulled the pin on a grenade. It was the Eureka diamond. Within months, the secret was out. South Africa wasn't just hiding a few stones. The land was infested with them. It was the greatest discovery in mining history, and it was a catastrophe. You see, for centuries, diamonds were rare. They came from a few riverbeds in India and Brazil. That rarity justified the price. But now, tons of diamonds were hitting the market. The miners were digging their own financial graves. The price began to freefall. The gemstone of kings was becoming common. The illusion of value was evaporating. If the market was left alone, the diamond would become as cheap as turquoise. Someone had to stop the digging. Enter Cecil Rhodes, a sickly, ambitious Englishman who came to Africa for his health and stayed for the power. He looked at the chaos of the mines and saw an opportunity for order. Ruthless, tyrannical order. Rhodes didn't want to mine diamonds. He wanted to own the ground they came from. He spent 2 decades buying out every desperate prospector, claim by claim, until he owned the entire Kimberley Pipe. In 1888, he incorporated De Beers Consolidated Mines. He now controlled 90% of the world's production. He had a monopoly, and with a monopoly, you don't accept the market price. You dictate it. He created the Diamond Syndicate. Merchants were invited to London to buy a box of stones. The price was non-negotiable. If you refused, you were blacklisted. Forever. The supply was choked, and the price skyrocketed. The Great Depression. Rhodes died a titan, but his empire faced a new enemy in the 1930s. The Great Depression. The global economy collapsed. In a world where people were starving in bread lines, nobody bought diamond rings. De Beers was in trouble. The mines were still producing, but the buyers had vanished. Their vaults in London were filling up. They were sitting on millions of carats of inventory that was rapidly becoming worthless. The price of diamonds was about to crash again. They couldn't force people to buy. They had to make them want to buy. They needed to hack the human psychology of love itself. A diamond is forever. 1938. Harry Oppenheimer, the heir to De Beers, traveled to New York. He met with N.W. Ayer, a legendary advertising agency. Their brief was insane. Make the diamond a psychological necessity. They launched a guerrilla war on culture. They gave diamonds to movie stars to wear at premieres. They planted stories in gossip columns. They targeted high schools to groom future buyers. They linked diamonds to social status. But the masterstroke came in 1947. A copywriter named Francis Garrity scribbled 4 words before bed. A diamond is forever. It wasn't just a slogan. It was a command. If a diamond is forever, you never resell it. You never flood the market with second-hand goods. De Beers tricked the public into becoming the guardians of their inventory. By keeping the gems, you kept the price high. They even invented the 2-month salary rule. It started as a poster campaign. It had no basis in history or economics, but men were shamed into compliance. If you paid less, you didn't love her. The Siberian flood. The monopoly was secure. Until the 1950s. Across the world, Soviet geologists were trudging through the frozen hell of Siberia. They were looking for uranium, but they found something else. They discovered the Mir mine, a volcanic pipe loaded with diamonds. The Soviet Union now had the power to flood the market and destroy the capitalist price structure De Beers had built. De Beers had to act. Sir Ernest Oppenheimer flew to Moscow. He couldn't stop the communists from mining, so he made a deal with the devil. He bought it all. The Single-Channel Agreement. De Beers agreed to buy every single rough diamond the Soviets produced, no matter the cost. They stockpiled them in London just to keep them off the market. The inventory crisis. But there was a catch. Siberian diamonds were small, tiny. Most were under half a carat. They were useless for the engagement rings De Beers had spent 20 years marketing. They had a vault full of gravel. So what did they do? They invented a new tradition, the eternity ring, a continuous band of tiny diamonds given to an older wife. The slogan was, "She married you for richer or poorer. Let her know how it's going." It was pure manipulation. They cleared the Soviet inventory by guilting successful men. Blood and sand. For decades, the cartel seemed invincible, but in the 1990s, the darkness caught up with them. In Sierra Leone and Angola, rebel groups seized diamond mines. These weren't industrial operations. They were slave camps. Civilians were forced to dig at gunpoint. The stones were traded for AK-47s. They became known as blood diamonds. De Beers was buying these diamonds. They claimed they couldn't tell the origin. But buying up the supply was the only way to protect the price. Their money was fueling genocide. By the late 90s, the public woke up. Images of amputated children hit the news. The shiny, romantic product was now radioactive. De Beers faced a total collapse of their brand. The fracture. They pivoted hard. They helped create the Kimberley process, a certification scheme to ban conflict diamonds. They claimed to be clean, but the monopoly was already cracking. Massive new mines opened in Australia and Canada. The owners, Rio Tinto and BHP Billiton, were giants. They didn't need De Beers. They sold their diamonds directly to the market. The cartel was broken. De Beers' market share plummeted from 90% to under 30%. They were no longer the custodians of the price. They were just another jeweler, the synthetic future. But today, the final nail in the coffin isn't geopolitics. It's science. Lab-grown diamonds, stones created in plasma reactors that are chemically identical to mined diamonds. They are perfect, and they are cheap. For decades, De Beers yelled, "Real is rare." But now they have launched their own lab-grown brand, Lightbox. They are cannibalizing their own history to survive. The enduring spell. The monopoly is dead. The scarcity was a lie. The resale value is a myth, and yet, look at your hand. Or look at the hands of your friends. The sparkle is still there. De Beers may have lost the market, but they won the war for your mind. They successfully attached a rock to the concept of eternal love. It is the most expensive, enduring, and beautiful illusion ever sold. And even now that you know the trick, you still want the magic.